I see fire. I see, in order to get that fire, I do see at some point, possibly down the road, option to stake based on the sheer size of the coin. So once market capacity increases, what you will get is an insane value for your coin based on some kind of burn. It's kind of like with XRP, right? It's if XRP, pays their fines, which is what's going to happen to XRP. They'll pay their fines, and then you're going to see market acceptance. And for all those people who've held their coins for as long as they've had, a burn would justify that patience, right? And that's the only way you kind of really get values, by limiting market supply. Even though in this case, Holochain doesn't need to do so, because you may as well have coins for the next 100 years, right? But there's nothing stopping somebody from buying that now. But again, everything's got a purpose. And so you also have from GitHub, the most widely used system for collaborative software, the agent-centric model, where there is no one global truth. So some of this is new to you. A lot of it's new to all of us. Don't take it personally if you don't understand something. Feel free to join us in the Discord to ask any kinds of questions. I do like that this article covers topics on holofuel, holoports, and we're going to look at the Holo organization going to evolve. Let's see, from Matthew Schutt. We're in a transition period. We didn't do anything in the normal way. We didn't give any equity to the company, to investors. We didn't even give equity to the employees. I don't have equity, for instance, because our intent is to hand over control of the resources to the community over time. We're aiming to start by using a co-budget-like process so that our community will control 1 to 3% of the revenue. There will be a learning process so the community can build up its ability to make decisions and exercise judgment about how to allocate resources towards training, UI development, security tools, etc. Over time, the plan is to increase the amount of revenue which the community controls until the community controls all of the revenue. We're also launching a trust that controls HoloChain. That trust receives 50% of Holo's revenues. That will help to support HoloChain and nourish the growth of the network. Basically, we've managed to hack together a funding mechanism for HoloChain, despite the fact that we are completely giving HoloChain away for free. Like, you guys don't get how liberating that is. So, here's the difference between HoloChain and Cardano. HoloChain is for the people. HoloChain says, we're basically going to create a fund, but that fund is to give it away. It's to train and develop the skill sets to grow the network, right? It's going to go towards training, user interface. It's going to go towards development and security tools, etc., right? And, when we talk about the trust receiving 50% of Holo's revenues, that's going to support and nourish the growth of the network, right? When we talk about Cardano and you listen to Hoskinson, I love seeing Cardano in Africa. Great. Everybody has the right to make money in Africa. But what I don't see Cardano doing is really I don't see Cardano, in any black communities. I don't see it in any inner city schools. But you want to be in Africa, you want to make money. So the only kind of message I get from Cardano, and I'm not really knocking Hoskinson. He can be in his feelings all he wants. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not looking for an answer to the question, but this is why I'm turned off and by this product is you just want to make money off of Africa. And as noble as and as heartful as your intentions are, I really just think of you seeing it as the biggest economic opportunity, and rightfully so. You could also have great conviction for it, but I just don't see it. And as somebody who lives in Toronto, I know you have an office in Toronto, and again, right, what do I see Cardano doing and not doing? And so it's just kind of I'm not really seeing evidence of that conviction. I just see a lot of chest thumping and opportunity to make money off of, but it's still leaving what I would say many Africans out of. harsh assessment, I know, but I'm not here to really like I can't bullshit on a bull run. There's money to be made, so you're gonna make money with Cardano, great, but just know what I said though. I stand by what I said, and that comes from genuine experience and perspective. I don't see Cardano in any black communities, and I don't see Cardano trying to improve the presence of black people in the crypto sphere as far as fintech advancement, development, skill development, research, coding, programming, but you want to go to Africa, make money, great, but you're still leaving Africa out of Africa. All you're doing is what we would consider is some kind of form of economic colonialism. I know people didn't come here for the politics, and I'm not trying to conflate my opinion of Cardano with anyone else's perspective, but that's just how I feel. I like that Holochain is neutral in the regard that it's for everybody, and that, anybody can take it on. And I'm sure that similarly, Cardano has open domain softwares and libraries, great. But I'm just saying, from a standpoint, from what I see as a PR, Hoskinson might do better from having someone else be the face of his company. Nice guy, but yeah, he just kind of missed the mark with this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Cardano stock slides for a little bit based on that assessment. And if I'm wrong, you can go backtracking through whatever Cardano does, and you don't see Cardano in any black communities. So I just had to get that off my chest. So yeah, the other thing I was thinking about too was there's been one thing where people will take on the notion that as far as P2P, does this mean it could become a dangerous a place for extremists? And actually no, it's more of it's centered around accountability. So if you're someone who's an extremist, as Arthur Brock just made it very clear, if you're doing bad things on the network, and I love hearing this from Arthur, it's if you're doing bad things on the network, you're still gonna get booted from the network. And when authorities get to you, guess what happens? Well, the keys on your computer are gonna, point back to everything you've ever done, and it's there, we found an idiot. So a lot of the people who are getting caught, it has nothing to do with Parler. It has everything to do with that user's internet activities. And you know what, if you do something, against the law, and you're posting it on the internet, guess what? People don't have to wait till they get to your computer to figure out that you've been doing that, but it'll be the use of your computer that'll link you to all of your other nefarious online and dark web activities. So Holochain is centered around user accountability and global consensus, especially on the network. So you're not really safe if you're doing if you're being a good person, you're not gonna have problems. But if you're doing bad things, there's just a greater likelihood that you're gonna get booted from the network for being an idiot. So I can touch on. So there's a couple points in this next article. It's from Holochain. It's from the medium.com, and it's titled, is Holochain a safe haven for dangerous extremists or beacon of hope for accountability? And it's assessing risk and opportunity in light of the deplatforming of Parler and other recent events. So I do like this article from Josh Zamel, and he co-authored it with Arthur Brock, Holochain's chief architect. And I dig it because, so between you and I, there was a lot, I knew what was going to happen on the Capitol Hill before it happened, just because, it's pretty easy to hear what you hear, Google paraphrase what you see, and then find evidence that certain events are going to take place. So they wanted to address this, and I love how they address this in this article. There's certain subtitle topics: Holo and Holochain, unenclosability versus anonymity, accountability and provenance, discerning signal from noise, verifiability or provenance, and then touching on Holochain enables apps and their communities to dial in their own approaches to privacy and moderation. Provenance through is not optional in Holochain apps. So I dig that. Which one do I want to read? So actually I found the one I do want to read. Let me see if I got any coffee left. And again, this is good for you to get an idea as to like how quickly I comb through research. I've made laps through my holochain things, and the reason why I search every day is because every day I find new things, right? Like the telecommunications thing, I had no idea that was a thing. I've really been past that. One of the areas I've been thinking about ideally is interstellar encryption, just because satellite internet is becoming a new thing, and what becomes of the world 5 years from now when 5G is just too slow. But yeah, interstellar encryption via AI, machine learning, and deep learning is something I'd been really interested in as far as like its capacity for, because there's this project called CoreX, and it's nice, it's cute, it's ETH. But then when someone was mentioning it to me, I'm like, okay, it's cute, and if they're doing that and their proprietary software is to scale, well, I know, to improve rapid scaling, well, Holochain has an infinite scalability, and it would just mean easier development for me. If I was a developer, I would just use some of that to develop that, and try to like when the App Store launches and they're in and they come out of beta, for example, you could easily get your app ready to launch for beta. Like, I don't get why people are sleeping on Holochain, but again, if I saw some of these crappy review videos where they leave basically the hour of information that I just gave you out, I feel the ways too. I'm going to give you this section of this article that's co-authored by, between Josh Zamel and Arthur Brock. So it's from the portion of it is in regards to provenance, though, is not optional in holochain apps. Even if you have a space of complete freedom where anyone can say what they want and reach a lot of people, which is too noisy in practice, but let's say your space leans in that direction, it's a feature of holochain that at the very least you can't falsely attribute speech, and you can't alter speech once it's been spoken. Holochain at its core is a data integrity engine. All communications are immutably bound to an author and timestamp. So immutable is like a permanent thing. You can't undo it. In a world where broadcast technology is becoming even ever cheaper and deep fakes are becoming ever easier, it's essential that we develop better mechanisms to discern signal over noise, sort truth from disinformation, and to promote good acting over bad. With Holochain's emphasis on provenance and accountability while providing options for privacy and curation, all while running far more efficiently than blockchain, it's an ideal framework for the development of those mechanisms. I wonder how AI will boost that. And Holo as a distributed hosting platform that enables anyone with a web browser to use Holochain app makes the data integrity of Holochain widely available immediately. Whew, that's intense. In case you haven't been tracking its progress, the current version of Holochain is processing hundreds of thousands of gossip interactions per second for each Holochain app. That is many orders of magnitude faster than prior versions, despite being bottlenecked through a single proxy just for testing purposes. As we deploy self-selection of proxies and DHT sharding over the next month, we expect to see even more leaps in performance, and Holo is currently rolling out the first Holochain apps running on its peer hosting network on the way. Stay tuned about Holochain and Holo. Guess when that one was written? February 22nd. Wow. So like if you got the popcorn out, you must be one happy camper, because I'm confirming the things that you've heard. And you're wondering, how could this be $1 by the end of the year? Because chances are this might be the only video to validate why it'd be worth over $1 in the coming year. When you look at programs like VeChain and its deals with automotive industries, well, we demonstrated as far as IoT goes, a Holochain has that ability to do that. It's let's talk about now. One thing I've been really interested in is geo-sharding. This is something I came across a few years ago, and mind you, I only started crypto investing recently, but it was just the notion of